Yo, what's going on, guys? I'm back to do something a little different than usual, and today I want to do a top 10 horror comics. So, this will be basically, I'll be telling you my top 10 favorite horror stories that basically all these, except for maybe one or two, are going on right now or have been going on the last couple years. This is my top 10 list for right now. Maybe in 6 months or something, I'll change it up and do another one. But right now, most of these I would say are indies. And yeah, a lot of these I think you should definitely check out if you haven't. And yeah, let me know what you guys think down below and what your top 10 might be. And without further ado, let's get into this.
Dylan! You son of a bitch.
So, for number 10, my favorite would be SweetHeart. And SweetHeart is a newer Action Labs title right now. You probably could have only got issue 1, maybe issue 2, depending on if your shop was closed or not. But the issue 3, 4, and 5 have all come out on Comixology, so you can read the entire 5-issue miniseries. So if you guys picked up issue 1, I'd highly recommend you checking this out. It is a fantastic book. Me and my buddy Kevin from 1-2 Comic Talk, we interviewed Dylan, and he was a great guy. And yeah, I'd definitely recommend checking that video out if I don't sell you enough on picking up this book. And look out, because I'll be doing a review on that book as well. So for number 9, I would like to go Hotel. And this is a John Lee's book, one of the first 4 titles to come out from AWA Studios, and this has only received 1 issue. I believe it's got maybe up to issue 3 if you buy the Upshot Now books. This book is similar to Ice Cream Man and similar to another book that right behind me. It is more of a Tales from the Crypt style comic book where they are one-shot issues, but sometimes they tie into a bigger world of this hotel, rooms in this hotel. Yeah, and I honestly really enjoyed that issue 1, and it's just one book that I already know from reading Singh, from reading other titles by John Lee's, that this is going to be one of the amazing horror books to come out this year. So if you did not pick up Hotel and you are a horror fan, I highly recommend you picking it up because it is definitely worthwhile. And if you haven't seen it, I did a non-spoiler review on it, so go check that out if you haven't. So for number 8, I would like to go and pick WolvenHeart. This is a Mad Cave Studios title written by Mark London, and the artwork is done by, oh man, I don't want to screw it up, so I will just say that the artwork is done by the same artist that did Midnight Task Force for Mad Cave Studios, which is also a slight detective horror book too. So this book, WolvenHeart, is about monster hunters, and dude, what is better than that? I would say that this is the best monster hunting book I've ever read. But I'm not gonna lie and say I've read a crap ton. I've only read maybe one. Maybe I've read one other. Yeah, probably. So, but either way, this one blows it out the park. I've seen plenty of Monster Hunter movies, and this is one I would love to see it get turned into a movie because it is badass. It's a 7-issue mini-series, so it's actually up to issue 6. Would have came out like the week that a lot of shops were getting shut down, but luckily I was able to read a digital copy of issue 6. But yeah, I'm waiting for that last issue, so we will be getting a volume 2, so I highly recommend you checking this out. Mark London is world building. The artwork is fantastic in it. It's fantastic. They make the werewolves look scary and big and badass, and you get kind of like a daywalker in a way, where like Blade, but he is kind of like a Jared Leto looking guy, and he's one of the best monster hunters and WolvenHeart, and he's a part of WolvenHeart, which is a secret society of monster hunters led by Van Helsing. So it's highly recommended if you are into any of that monster stuff. So next, number 7 would be These Savage Shores. As you can see, I actually have it right behind me as well. Gifted from the main man, Rockin' Robbie Billups himself. Thank you, my brother, for hooking me up with this and getting me hip, because this is one of the coolest books ever, and it's a vampire book as well. It is very, very well written, done by Ram V. Kumar is the artist, and a Stone, who is actually, I believe, the colorist on this book I have called Maxwell's Demons, sent to me by Robbie, but also he is the colorist on Canto, if I'm not mistaken, which is phenomenal. So I know you Canto fans out there. If you love artwork like that, you're gonna love These Savage Shores. It is phenomenal. It dates back to like the 16th century, and it is nothing like you've ever read before. It kind of gives me hints of like Salem's Lot with the vampires mixed with Interview with the Vampire, with a lot more though. Like, it is very deep and complex, and it is a really great read, and the artwork is absolutely phenomenal. For number 6, my pick is MountainHead. Yes, another John Lee's title. This book gives me hints of The Thing. John Lee's, you were doing something really different with this story than your other books like A Hotel and Sink, and this book is about a kid going through something very traumatizing in his life, and he ends up getting moved to this small town city where he was supposed to be raised growing up, but he had something happen to him where his life has just been turned upside down, and there is this mountain, and it's a small town community, and I love horror stories like this where it's kind of a small knit community. Everybody knows everybody, and they have secrets. You know what I'm saying? It's just something, and there's something with this mountain where all the men talk about that. Oh, my father used to say, men on the mountain, they don't come back down the same. It gives them something we call MountainHead, and you end up seeing that these guys that are coming back from the mountain, or maybe one or two guys, really ends up being one. He does not come back the right way, and it is something definitely different. I really love the artwork. I believe Ryan Lees does the artwork, and Doug Garbick is the colorist. It is an absolutely fantastic book, and I also did a review for that one as well. So if you have not checked that out, I would highly recommend it. So my number 5 is going to be The Plot, written by Michael Moreci, and let's see, artwork done by, it's actually written by Tim Daniel and Michael Moreci, drawn by Joshua Hickson, colored by Jordan Boyd. And this book, I was a little late to this. I tried to order it, and something happened where I wasn't able to get it because it sold out pretty quick, I believe, and I never ended up going for a second print. The artwork is unlike any horror story I've really ever seen. It's really dark at times, but it has such a different way that the colors blend in, like with this creature that's kind of like, in a way, he's kind of like a Swamp Thing type monster, but it's definitely something different. There's this, there's something with this lake and this house, and it starts with these the Blaine family is what they call themselves. The father and mother end up getting killed, and the son and daughter end up having to go live with their estranged uncle, which is the brother-in-law to the father. So this Blaine family has a lot of hidden secrets. They go to a town that's kind of one of those tight-knit communities, which I mentioned. I love stuff like that. And when the brother takes him back to the family house, there's not a lot of people that are happy, because they know when the Blaines come back to town, then bad things are just bound to happen. So my number 4 is gonna be Gideon Falls. And this book is written by Jeff Lemire, artwork done by Andre Sorrentino, colors done by Dave Stewart. And this book is one that I've read in trade. It's just one of those that I can binge. I can read all 5 issues in one sitting every time I read one of the trades. It is a book that definitely should become a TV series or a movie. This book is very special and unique. As soon as you read it, just the way the panels are laid out and the way the artwork comes together, it is really something special. And it's just one of those, as soon as you start reading it, you're like, man, this is really good, man. Everyone that comes together on that title does a fantastic job. Everything with the barn and the priest having to move to this small town, and just evil is lurking this town with the barn. It is just crazy. It is awesome, to say the least, and I highly recommend it. So for my number 3, we got Ice Cream Man, and this is one title that I absolutely love. It reminds me of Tales from the Crypt, where you could pick up on this book at any single issue and you don't, and it's, you know what I'm saying, because they are one shots. They some don't even tie around the Ice Cream Man, some do, but sometimes he'll just make a little appearance at the end. This book, the way that the colors are laid out, the way that this is written by Maxwell Price, the colors in this, the colors are so bold and bright and just eye-catching that it really sucks you in as soon as you read one issue. The number 2 is going to be Singh. And this book, like I have it behind me, has 2 volumes, 10 issues. This is just like Tales from the Crypt, one-shot issues, written by John Lees. That's 3 books by my man John Lees, man. Like, he's killing it. I highly recommend you checking out some of his work. The goriness, the blood, the violence, the craziness, the darkness, the artwork by Alex Cormack, the colors by Sean Lee is absolutely phenomenal. If you've read Road of Bones, if you're interested in the upcoming story Sea of Sorrows, and you've seen the artwork done by this man Alex, it's not one you're gonna want to miss, man. Like, if you're into the Ice Cream Man, I highly recommend you checking out Singh. I highly recommend it. It revolves around a small town. Everything is linked to this town called Glasgow, Scotland. We got a blue van of killer clowns riding around kidnapping people, which some people believe a myth, some people don't. We got a vigilante that runs around in a fox mask with a damn shovel, whooping ass and kicking ass and taking names. It's a hell of a ride. It is a hell of a ride. Each story is so unique in its own way. There's one that there's only 2 issues that are part 1 and part 2, but that part 1 and part 2 are phenomenal. So, my number 1, and before I get to my number 1, I want to do a couple honorable mentions. So if you guys are into any of these horror stories that I've been reading, maybe you've read some of them, maybe you haven't, there's a few I'd like to mention. This is one I'm currently reading. Just got it for my birthday last week, and I love the movie The Crow. I would highly recommend you checking that out. I'm not finished, otherwise that might have gone up on my list, but I'm kind of keeping with stories that have come out recently or in the past couple years. Any of the Hill House comic books, some are written by Joe Hill, some are written by others, which is Basketball Heads, Dollhouse Family, we got Plunge, and we got a couple others. I would also recommend, which is going on right now, it's on issue 4 though, I believe, Red Mother, Baby Teeth, Redneck, Interceptor, which is another Donny Cates, but that's kind of more, it has a little bit more sci-fi feel to it, but it has vampires, so I'd say it's got horror in it. Venom, written by Donny Cates, and Immortal Hulk by Al Ewing. So, without further ado, my number 1, Something is Killing the Children, written by James Tynion. artwork done by Miguel Murto. This book, what can I say? We finally have gotten a full arc. We're on issue 6, or issue 6 came out about a week or two before the lockdown. Might have been my favorite issue yet. We are waiting on issue 7 patiently. I cannot wait. This is one story that we're getting some option news possibly. I don't know if it's true, and maybe it's just something the fans really want, but I totally see it. But this could be the new Supernatural. With that ending soon, Something is Killing the Children can go so many different ways, and I always said when I first started reading this book that I was like, wow, this could be just like Supernatural. They could go anywhere with this. This could be a huge ongoing series. They don't have to just stick at one arc for this. And it was so popular that as soon as I knew they were going to a second arc, I'm like, they can do whatever. They can go from town to town, just like Sam and Dean. And that is what it's looking like they're doing. This is one that I highly recommend. You can pick up the trade for volume 1 right now if you have not. Issue 1 is a little pricey. The main cover is the most expensive, I'd say, but this is one that is worth reading. It is absolutely awesome. The artwork is so different and dark, and the colors have this blue tint to them at times, but it is one of the best books to come out this year. If you haven't read any of these, I highly recommend you checking them all out, or whichever ones you think see fit to your liking. And if you're down for it, why don't you guys go put your own top 10 down below and let me know how different our lists are. So if you guys wouldn't mind hitting that like button on your way out, hitting that subscribe, hitting that bell notification, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.
Dylan! You son of a bitch.